Welcome back. Alright, so we just defeated the kind of the midpoint boss. And I got Leap Slam finally, so we can actually traverse the levels a lot quicker. I reorganized the bars down here a little bit, so that way things are just kind of more in line with how I play. And I went ahead and identified that chess piece. Quite a bit better than what I had. What I had before was just kind of nothing, so it's going to be better in terms of extra stats. I'm going to go ahead and go back now that we're outside of Prisoner's Gate. Also, if you notice here, it will say kind of the level of the monsters there, and by how fast I play, or not how fast I play, by how kind of slowly I go through it, I'm a little bit over leveled. It's pretty typical for you to be over leveled. And that's gonna kind of happen all throughout your as you go through this. And I would say it's probably common. Some people do, usually the speedrunners are not over leveled, in fact some are under leveled, just because of how quickly they go through it and skip most of everything. No sponsors, stuff like that. To get to this main quest point, you actually just follow this road here, and it will get you there. And then, you know, the Pieties kind of runs that way. Which that character's name is Piety, by the way. And so we have to find a different way through. Normally we'll just go ahead and find the ghost shipyard. Alright. This is a lot faster. You can also notice that those things I take are I've been picking up. Picked up a couple times. There's shrines. They just give temporary buffs. You can see it up in the corner. It's not something you should necessarily like rely upon, but they are nice to have. Especially the movement speed ones. Don't know if I mentioned it, but I did go ahead and pick up War Banner just for the increased damage effect and also the accuracy until I have Resolute Technique. After that point I'll just drop it. It's not... it takes up some mana. Most persistent aura buffs thing do take up a percentage of your mana, and there are ways of reducing it, but most of the time you're just going to have it all taken up. You can make it to where your life is used. There's a large keystone in the passive tree that allows you to go ahead and use your life as opposed to mana. And if you have high life regeneration, it's a very useful tool. Okay. But I don't like to use it because if you are planning on making something that just attacks really quickly, like let's say because the max is 22 times a second, and if you have it going that fast, even if it's like 5 or 6 mana, and you're attacking 22 times a second, you're going to end up running out of life. At least that's what I think. May not be true. Let's see, Fairgraves. The optional quest here is Fairgraves. And I can't remember if he was useful or not to do. But he should be, yeah, right around over here probably. Yeah, this looks like yeah, there he is. Okay. So basically you just do his quests, and then you have to do a fight, and then you turn it in back in town. What you can do is just look for are the little mini dungeon. Should be around here. Somewhere. This is one of the maps that I don't know very well. I know Fairgraves is typically the map. Somewhere either like around here or here. But the other parts of it, I don't know where it is all the time. And just, I think this, it doesn't necessarily have more variety than the other ones, but it's just one that I do not, it doesn't have a lot of reusage, I guess. Because some of the maps are reused for different things. Or maybe it is reused a lot and it's just higher tier maps that I haven't done. So I truthfully haven't gone too far beyond. Oh, that's the main questline area. That's not where I want to go. I've gotten into maps, but I haven't gotten too far into them, just because I feel like other than cap everything else, you need to be able to go through them pretty quick, and I just never feel like I can get into them quick enough. From the starting point of it, I just look at it like, oh man, I've got a lot to do here, and I haven't just taken on that challenge yet. Is it gonna be like, no, it's not right here. It can't be. Wait, it's up. Wait, maybe? No, okay. No. It's probably over here then. Which is a little bit upsetting and annoying. Like I said, until I get to like 1,000, I usually still pick those up all the time. Scrolls of Identification and stuff. Just because I have done quite a bit of trading up before when I really wanted to roll on something. Yeah, Shipyard Cave. Oh boy. I had mentioned before some of the positives that I felt about Path of Exile. However, a couple things I don't like is that the crafting system. I mean, it's a good system, and I like the currencies and stuff like that, but I always feel like being able to get your own like best gear stuff is very bit too RNG, especially for people who are just starting to get into it. I mean, I don't think Path of Exile is very it's a good game. It's good for everything else, but I think that it takes a bit more involvement than others, so it's not necessarily a good introductory game. At least when it comes to introduction into the this kind of isometric ARPG genre. And you know, I think a lot of ARPGs, at least when they were designed a long while ago, had the same thing. And people really wanted a Diablo 2-esque game, and so this fills a lot of those niches. But I think it's a little bit confusing. That's why I made the basics video in the first place. Just because it can be very confusing to get off and like, oh, what do I do with this massive passive tree? What do I do with this? And it's not really that bad. But the crafting system is more convoluted than probably you want. Although they have introduced various effects to make it easier. And once you understand it, it's not bad. But there's things like item levels, and then there's like the top is item level 100, but sometimes you want items between this level and this level to get this effect, or certain item types only roll for certain things, so it becomes more difficult. Think of the Harvest League, the last league that there was. They introduced a lot of things that made it easier, but at the same point, some of the, I guess the people who are more mainstay for this game found it a bit too easy and too much of, at your fingertips. There's the same thing the league before that. They found some of the players who, or a lot of the mainstay players, found that it was just giving out too many items. Because what you do is basically the entire map turned gray. And I may find one of these as I'm going through and playing this, but it'll turn the entire map gray, and you basically fight a bunch of enemies to increase the amount of loot that gets crapped out. And so a lot of people found like, oh, there's just too much loot, so I had to go through it all. It's like, well, isn't that the point of the item filters you got, so you don't have to go through all of it so much? And I felt that it was also a lot easier for people who do not have a lot of time in the game to be able to get loot, because that league was actually the first time I ever saw a 6-link chest piece. That's just because there was so much loot coming through that it didn't shorten the amount of hours that you need to play to get stuff, but it did make it to where there's so much stuff that the opportunity to find them was a lot greater. Okay, I'm gonna go back to here and turn this in, and then I'm going to go ahead and the video. In the next video, we'll go ahead and fight the boss for the first act. Alright. That was that. I'll see you next video. Bye.